Hey everyone, on today's episode, I'm wrapping up my summer road trip to Montana with a very special hike to the top of St. Mary's Peak in Montana's Bitterroot Mountains, where, if I'm lucky, the greatest beer in all the world will be waiting for me. In the middle of Montana's Bitterroot Valley, there's a town that has a unique claim of being where Montana began. In 1831, the Bitterroot Salish people, having heard from the Iroquois tales of black robes who had been working with Native Americans, sent 4 young men all the way to St. Louis, Missouri. There, they called upon William Clark, the other half of the famous folk duo Lewis and Clark, to arrange for a Jesuit priest to be sent to their homeland. After 10 years of haggling and requests, the Jesuits finally arrived in 1841 and built this mission, which they named, along with the surrounding community, St. Mary. A fort and trading post soon followed in the 1850s, and the town was finally renamed in 1864 to honor territorial governor Isaac Stevens. That's how the town of Stevensville, and the state we know today as Montana, were born. While the name of the town changed, the name of the peak overlooking the town didn't. Good morning. We're going to do it today. We're going to climb that big SOB behind me. Today we're hiking St. Mary's. It's a bit of a drive from US 93 to get to the St. Mary's Peak trailhead. The road's a little bumpy, but still completely doable in most passenger cars. Here we are, finally doing it. Gonna climb that mountain. I don't even know where to begin. So when you get up here, you will find somewhere to go pee and poo. You'll also find a well-kept bulletin board with plenty of useful information, as well as a handy feature that might just save your life. Okay, so I couldn't find a form here, but I found some piece of paper in the truck, scribbled out a handwritten note. Anyway, when you're going into places like this, especially when you're by yourself, you need to when you see these register here signs, you need to start letting people know that you're going in, what your plans are, in case there's an emergency or you go missing. So I scribbled out a handwritten note, told them who I was, where I was going, when I departed, when I intend on returning, my phone number and a relative's phone number as in case of emergency, and I stuck it in the box down here. Now when I get back, maybe I'll fill out a slip and just say I returned. That way if somebody comes up here and there's a panic or a fire or something going on, they're gonna know that I went in there and I came back out and I made it safe. You don't need to send somebody looking for me. Okay, simple as that. The climb to the top from the parking lot is just over 4 miles. In that 4 miles, we will gain nearly 2,500 feet of elevation, topping out at a shade over 9,300 feet above sea level. For the first bit, the hike is just a pleasant stroll through the woods. At almost 1.5 miles in, you'll come across a spring you read about on the bulletin board at the trailhead. Apparently, this wonderful spring access has been maintained for riders to water their horses while heading into the backcountry. I wasn't thirsty, so I was back to it. And to it I was, chugging along uphill, listening to one of my favorite podcasts, enjoying being on a cool mountaintop instead of back home in the oppressive 100-plus degree Phoenix heat when I walked right into an old adversary my days in the Sunbelt had allowed me to forget about. Snow. Not enough to really get alarmed about, but snow nonetheless. In late June. Well, no sense losing time over that insignificant bit of snow. Besides, once I get out of these trees and get into the sunny parts, there couldn't possibly be any snow. That's what was on my mind when I crossed the boundary lines and entered into the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness. If you're curious as to why I'm not flying the drone today, that's why. See, it's illegal to take off or land a drone in a wilderness area. No sense carrying something I can't use. Yeah, this part isn't going to be fun, I don't imagine.
Looks like I can get across though, so that's good.
I ran into more than just a little snow. I made it through and was rewarded by my first glimpse of the peak and the historic lookout tower that sits atop her. But I ran into more snow. This time, enough to make me pull out Gaia GPS and check my route. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Always download your maps and routes into your GPS program before you get to the trailhead, in case there's no service on the trail. To my surprise, however, I never lost 4G signal on Verizon the entire trip. After catching my bearings, I continued on, only to find more snow and struggle. Even if the going was rough, at least the views were pretty. And just when I thought I was going to be trudging through the snow for the rest of the hike,
I'll be darned. Now it's starting to look like an Arizona hike, huh? Rocks, little scrub brush, craziness. But that view though, just can't beat it, man. There's certain things that you can only get in Montana. I mean, I hate to make this sound like a commercial or something, but you know, I know that there's probably something I'll find on the top of this thing that you can only find in Montana.
the views just keep getting more epic, and that white lookout kept getting bigger in my sights.
There it is. We're real close now.
Finally, I made it to the top and got to relax at the historic lookout.
Oh, I can't believe that. That was a hike up here. Fortunately, I was very, very fortunate here this day we have. There's hardly any wind up here. This is one of the windiest places ever. In fact, the original one of this tower was built in the, I believe, the 1920s or 30s, and it was destroyed in a windstorm, I believe, in 1950. And the tower that you see now is a reconstruction of that tower, beefed up, and it's stood here ever since. Now, I don't know if it's because of the COVID or because it's too early in the season, but there's normally a local nonprofit group that will man this thing a week at a time and be up here to host you and tell you all about it and everything else. And I will give you the links and mention of who they are in the description below. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. Wish I could stay up here all day. It's just incredible. I'm done. And thank you guys for watching and supporting and commenting and liking and hitting subscribe. It's really made a difference, and I really appreciate it, and it's given me more encouragement to keep coming out here and doing this kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys get something out of it. I know I'm getting to live my dream out of it, and that's what I want to do. Now, on to my treat. This right here is the nectar of the gods, and you can only get it in Montana. Remember when I said walking up here? There's something on this mountain that you can only get in Montana. It's anything from the Bayern Brewery. And they're one of the original pioneers of the brew pub movement in Missoula. Here's the deal. They make a really good beer, and it's my favorite in the world, and you can only get it in Montana. So, Bayern Pilsner it is.
Please note, my previous statements about Bayern being only available in Montana are a bit inaccurate. At the time I filmed this, I was still under the impression that Bayern was only distributed in Montana. I noticed on Bayern's website they now are carried by 3 distributors in Washington State and 1 distributor each in Oregon, Idaho, North Dakota, and Wyoming. I can honestly say this is the first time I have ever found myself envious of anything in Wyoming. I mean, come on. It's the state whose three greatest exports are oil, hurricane-force winds, and freakishly large pronghorn. Well, all good things must come to an end, and this hike was no exception. All in all, this trip took me most of the day, but accomplished hikers could probably make pretty easy work of it in 4 to 6 hours. As this hike comes to an end, so does this summer road trip. We had to get home to get ready for another couple of trips, one that would find us taking the 4Runner to a familiar place. But first, we had to make a stop on the way home to pick up a little something special for the next trip. I'm Matt Kester. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Frugal Explorer Dad. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, be good.